welcome back to another episode of Weddings Unscripted. My beautiful co-host, Kristin Kaplan.
Aw, thank you.
She's my Vanna White, y'all.
We were just joking. I was like, how many times can I touch my hair in one episode? Because
And
I
I'm
feel like the
gonna
whole
yawn.
time I sit there and do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we want to touch your hair. Come on. Like when we watch the episodes of Kristin's YouTube channels, it's like, how does she get her hair like that the whole time? And I've seen it. If she doesn't wash it for a week, it only gets better.
I have a lot of hair. That's why.
Yeah.
It takes me like an hour to dry it.
Do you ever like get it thinned out? I have friends that have like really thick hair and then they do the whole
Sort
thinning
of.
out.
It is like on the bottom thinned out a bit because it gets to be like, it's like if you saw it right after I get out of the shower, it looks like lion's mane. It's like whoosh.
Right.
So I have to calm it down a bit.
One of my friends who has hair as big and thick as yours, she was like, oh, do you want to come with me to get a haircut? This was like years ago. I was like, yeah, sure, no big deal. We're there for 3 hours. Because they thinned her hair out. And I was like, what? Why
like, whose hair takes this long?
I don't have time for this. Yeah.
Crazy.
Craziness. So,
anywho,
we have a super exciting topic to bring you today. Something that we're pretty passionate about. Something that we probably didn't learn early enough in our businesses, and that many people make this mistake. And we're here to save you from yourselves, folks.
Yes.
It's all about how to set hard and healthy boundaries in your business.
Yes.
So I'm going to start us off and just talk a little bit about just some of the things as a wedding business owner or just any business owner, you know, what you can get caught up in doing, being too available for your clients, answering emails 24/7, text messaging your client. This is really big in the wedding industry because people feel the need to be accessible to their brides 24/7. And I personally, I just don't see the need in that, because I do feel that there needs to be a boundary between friendships, businesships. Yes, being someone's wedding vendor of choice is a very close relationship, and sometimes you become very close friends with people after they become your client. But it's really important to have that client relationship for the duration that you're under contract with someone.
Yes.
I'm not saying you can't be friendly, but you know, make sure that those boundaries aren't crossed, and we're going to help you wade through that water a bit. So if you've been guilty of that, stay tuned. And we'd love for you guys to be interactive with us. Put your comments in the Facebook group, so that way after an episode is aired, you know, we can, you know,
we can talk more about it.
Really revisit it. I can't get my words together. So first of all, don't wait until it's too late to set hard and healthy boundaries in your business. I think Kristin and I both know that we probably waited many, many years in.
Yeah, I think you sort of dive in and you get working with clients, and it's kind of one of those things that's not really front of mind. Like, oh, I should map out like working hours and, you know, an email correspondence policy. And like, that's just not something I think is at the front of most people's minds when they start their business. So they wait usually till it comes back and like hits them in the face in some negative manner because they have a client who is impossible, that they suddenly start realizing, oh, maybe I need to do that.
When she's texting you at midnight.
Exactly.
And then you feel the need, oh, they know that I've read it.
So now I got to respond.
Right. Or do I hang out with my family because I'm on vacation, or it's the weekend, you know, I have a weekend off finally, you know. So thinking about those things and putting guidelines in place will help you be a better business owner. But we'll get to more of that here in a little bit. So not setting boundaries can lead to working with a lot of non-ideal clients. When people don't respect your boundaries and your time, it's really a red flag that, you know, they don't respect you as a business owner. So I think it's getting really clear on the type of client that you want to work with and putting those boundaries in place so that your ideal clients are people that really show up and respect that you run your business like a legitimate business owner.
And I feel like this goes this goes just to dive a little bit into the money side of it, the pricing side of it. when you're getting paid what you're actually worth, people respect you because they're not hiring you because you're the cheapest option. But I feel like when people hire someone because they're the cheapest option, there's that lack of respect there. And that's where the boundaries thing tends to go out the window, because they feel like that you're the hired help, and they're allowed to dictate when they want to talk to you and how that relationship works and how fast you should email them back and those things. So that's something to always consider, is like Ginny just said, if you are truly working with your ideal clients and charging them appropriately and they respect who you are as a business owner, this whole process is going to be so much easier.
Absolutely. It can also lead to overwhelm.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not setting boundaries, you are going a mile a minute, and it gets really overwhelming really, really quick. And that doesn't lead to anything good for you or your client. It can lead to overworking and underperforming.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads into poor reflection in your reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're overworking and you're underperforming, you're not giving your clients your best, and then you're not getting those stellar reviews. So really making sure that you're putting those boundaries in place, you're giving every single client your best, and really able to live up to that. So that way, you know, when you wrap a wedding and an event, that you can expect a stellar review and you don't feel like you left anything undone or something that could have been improved that they could be putting into their reviews. Because that's what really builds your business, especially if you're starting out. You can't afford to have not even one negative review out there, really. So just, you know, being honest with yourself about what you can do and setting boundaries around how you want to build your business.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a side topic, but I just had the thought, just because I've been talking to a few friends who are actually just starting businesses themselves. And I think as a brand new business owner, and I would love your thoughts on this, Kristin,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't feel like they have the right
They're
to
so scared.
set boundaries and to really put their time restrictions on things. They should just allow clients to dictate what they do because they're afraid of losing the client, because you know, as a new business owner, a client is a client, and that's money.
You're so worried that you might lose every single one. You'll do anything and everything to make sure that you retain that client or get that client. And then that's where those, you know, newer business owners are so afraid to put those boundaries in place, to do anything to upset their client. But they need to get back to this place of understanding the client's hiring you for your process and for the way that you run the show and for your service, and you get to dictate how your service works. And I think when you remember that they are hiring you for that end result, not to be the hired help and just to do whatever they tell you to do, it's easier to come back to that, like, oh no, that's why they hired me, was because I'm giving them an end result, and whatever boundaries you need to put into place or process you need to put into place to get to that end result is up to you, not your client.
Absolutely. And, you know, just showing that you respect and value your time as much as you respect and value their time, it's really going to go a long way. And when you are a new business owner and you're setting these boundaries and things in place, if you start bad habits in the beginning, when you're a mid-level business owner, you're going to still carry those bad habits with you. And then when you get to that mid-level point and you're ready to scale your business, you're going to be at a standstill and not be able to scale, because you're going to have to go back to the beginning and do all of this, you know, groundwork all over again, essentially, before you can think about scaling your business, because you've just been letting everybody willy-nilly and take control of your business.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, once you get down that road with even one client, and most of us in the wedding industry, our relationships with our clients, you're working with them for a year or sometimes more. And if you start off on the bad foot with this, you're not going to be able to course correct very easily if you've constantly already been emailing them back at 9 p.m. or, you know, taking their phone calls or answering their text messages whenever immediately after they text you.
Months later in and say, okay, well, now we're going to change.
Just kidding. We're not going to do that anymore.
I need you to sign this updated contract.
Yeah, they're not going to be
new office hours.
Yeah. So it's so much easier to put this all in place in the beginning so that you're not getting halfway through with a client pulling your hair out and being like, how do I fix it? When at that point it is really hard to course correct.
Absolutely. So a myth that is out there is setting boundaries does not mean not being available for your clients.
Yes.
You can
Doesn't make you a jerk.
absolutely available for my clients, but
Mhm.
I'm available when it's best for me
For
and
you.
my family.
Yes.
So that way I can be my best
Right.
for my client. Because if realistically, let's just be real here. I just had a second baby. My life is like crazy. I barely have time to work. If I told my clients that I would get back to them at any time that they emailed me, I'd be emailing them at 2 a.m. and who knows what would be coming out of my mouth. I don't know.
You'd be like half exhausted, like delirious.
Right. Hey, do you really want me doing your brand strategy when I'm
you're
not slept?
exhausted and delirious?
Do we really want to be having that call at that
2
point in
a.m.?
time?
No.
It's just being realistic. You want to do your best work when is best for you so you can deliver your best results for your clients. And I'm not saying like, be on vacation and be like lax about it, but find out when your best times are, what works best for you in your life. Everybody's life is different. Kristin and I just had a conversation this past week on Voxer about how we used to be very strict on we didn't work weekends. Once Kristin moved out of working actual weddings, and I don't work weddings.
I get my weekends back.
That don't know me. So we have our weekends back, and we were always like, we're not going to work weekends anymore because that was just so sacred to us for such a long time. And now we're in a place with the way our childcare situations are that we are working a little bit on the weekends when our husbands are home and we
Just
have
a smidge.
more childcare. And that's okay because that's what's working for us in our life right now.
We're not doing it because our clients are dictating that or, that sort of reason. It's just purely because with the way our childcare situations are, I've got kids home Tuesday, Thursday. My daughter's only in school every day till 2. So I have a limited amount of time on Monday, Wednesday, Friday to get stuff done. So that means sometimes I got to sit down on a Saturday or Sunday and catch up for a couple hours. And that just is how it is. But the important thing is that we're setting those boundaries and rules in our business. We're not letting somebody else do it.
Right. Because if you want to skip it, you can.
Yeah.
As well. It's not that you have a client saying you have to work.
It has to be, or you have to talk to me at this very moment.
Yeah. So setting boundaries does, however, show that you are running a professional and legit business.
Yeah, it makes you look better because you put some forethought into this.
Like too legit to quit, y'all. You know how many wedding business owners out there don't look legit? Don't be one of those people. So
be like, when you show your client you have well thought this process out and you have a distinct process and distinct boundaries, they're going to be impressed and be like, oh, look at her.
It serves your client better because it takes the guesswork away from your client.
Yes.
Instead of the client being like, oh, I don't want to message her, they can easily know. You can have it in your contract. You can go over on your first consultation, like when they've actually hired. You can talk about it before they've hired you and then reiterate it once you start working together and say, this is how I like to work. This is what working together typically looks like. I am available these specific days, these specific times. This is when my availability will be to you. So that way they understand, and if they have any questions. Yes, is there going to be those times when your client needs to meet based on their work schedule if they work full time? Absolutely. And that's okay to make an exception.
Yeah.
But it's just really putting that out there and being understanding and having that open dialogue with your client up front to where.
I was going to say that's key too, because I feel like people do forget that piece. Like you do actually have to communicate this to them. Like they're not, your client's not a mind reader, and it might be in like your email signature, but that's not enough. Like you need to actually sit down and have the conversation. And oftentimes too, when you explain your why and why it's set up like this and that it's actually going to benefit them and all of that, like they totally understand. But I think people are always scared to have that conversation, especially when like you've just signed the contract, everybody's all jazzed and happy and like excited, and you don't want to be like the buzzkill that's like, oh, and here are my office hours and it's going to take at least 2 business days for all my email responses. Like, but that is the perfect time to sit down and have that conversation and be like, let's get this out on the table and talk about it.
And it really commands a respectful and healthy working relationship between the two of you right from the start. So you all get on from the right foot. If it's, your client, their spouse to be, their parents, all parties involved, should know what your availability is and what your business boundaries are.
Yes.
So we would love to know in the comments. Let's start a conversation. What are your boundaries? What are your hard boundaries? Everybody has certain boundaries, and everybody's different.
Yeah.
So we would love to know what are some of your hard boundaries, and what are the things that you struggle with the most when it comes to setting boundaries in your wedding business.
Yes. Tell us, because we'll help you with it.
Yes, absolutely. So that's all for today. And we'll be back every Monday with a new episode of Weddings Unscripted. So make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Definitely make sure you're in our Facebook group. Let's start conversation in the Facebook group. Let us know what questions you have surrounding this topic, and we are here to help. And let's chat all about it. Let's chat about the boundaries, y'all.
Be sure to subscribe to this channel, because that way you'll get, and also there's a little like bell, so you can hit the bell, and that will notify you every time we post a new video, so you can be the first to know.
Awesome. Bye, guys.